Okay, here we have a Redneck slip and slide, or a lawnmower slip and slide. I saw this on YouTube and thought I'd try it. I really didn't find any videos talking about how they built one, so you just kind of had to look and kind of figure it out. So I thought I'd go over real quick what we did. We started with this right here. This pipe's probably, I don't know, 6 feet deep, so we probably got it 3.5, 4 feet in the ground. Drove it in with a sledge. We had to straighten it a few times, so going down to keep it somewhat level. You don't want it sideways and it'll wobble, make your chain pull in and out when you go around. So we had to put some wedges into the dirt right by it, some slivers and some 2x4s is what we cut and used for that. And then we laid our 4 sheets of plywood. My mower, I measured the turning radius. This is a little bit bigger than what most people are going to be using and heavier. The ones in the video, they had a real small, cheaper Lowe's mower or Home Depot mower, and a small rope tied to it to keep it on its track so it don't, the force of the person being slung gets, pulls it off, because you've got to have that or it'll just pull the front of the mower in all over the place. So after we put our boards down, we cut the corners, put them up next to the pipe. We put the 2x4s on the sides, squeeze the pipe, 2x4s on the side, squeeze the pipe, put them down to anchor that. This stuff's the real thin stuff, I don't know, 1/4 inch, less than 1/2 inch, I don't know what it is exactly. So we drilled the holes in the 2x4s and then put like 3 or 4 inch deck screws in it and screwed them all the way through it into the dirt, and then lightly torqued it. You have to drill the 2x4s out first, if not it won't pull against the boards down here, and it don't take a whole lot to strip it, so you really got to be careful. This stuff's real thin. The thicker stuff, this was like $10 a sheet at Lowe's, and you could have got thicker stuff, but I didn't really see any point in doing that. And then we put this little bucket up here in case slack got in the chain for some reason, so it didn't get down and catch a corner as it went around. The mower, this thing's 23 years old. It's equivalent to a 500 series now, so it's about a $6,000 or $7,000 mower. So my point is, it's a little bit heavier, and of course a lot of people in the videos I saw, they didn't have the weights on the back, they had the smaller mowers, and somebody was either standing on the back or pushing it. Sorry, I got distracted. My wife's coming with some hot water. We're trying to fill that fill the pool, and we ran a bunch of hose out, kind of like a coil system, to try to heat the water so it's not as hot. It's working, but we need, we only got probably 300 feet of hose, and we need like 800, but so we're just filling it a little bit at a time to keep it from getting so cold. We could have filled it a couple days before, but we didn't want the bugs and leaves in it, so that's what we got. So I added the weight. This thing's got a cruise control. I disabled the seat switch, the safety switch on it, so I can set the cruise and let it go by myself, or by itself if needed. The only problem is we got to watch this rope so it don't get caught on the corner of the edge of the board here. So the other thing is, most of the videos I saw, they had something sticking out to get this rope farther off. If you tie right here, it's going to get all caught in the wheel. So this was a lane. I had this here for a weight bracket I never did use. It's like almost 1/2 inch steel, 4 or 5 inches wide, and probably about 4.5 feet long. So I put that on there, and then I had the chain. I welded a hook to it, bolted it to the bumper, and there's not a lot of weight with all the counterweight in the back now. So this thing will basically, you don't even have to steer it. That no more than weight's on the tires. The chain will, it ain't much on there, so it'll just pull the chain will steer it for it, which is good, because I won't be operating it all the time, and if you're trying to steer it exactly, it doesn't work. So the person, now keep in mind that this is overkill. A lot of times you're not going to get this big of an area to work with. You're not going to have this heavier of a mower. If the mower turns tighter, this is about a 16-foot deal here is what I set up for, because I measured the turning radius of the mower. I wanted it somewhat, as tight as the mower would turn, at least that big, and it was 16 feet. So that's why we went with what we got. The sheets were $10 a sheet, and then so I got 8 of those, so that's $80. And we got the plastic at Lowe's. This comes in 20 by 100 feet sheets, so it's 50-foot square this is, and that's a 100-foot runway that I'll get to here in a minute. So yeah, so this is the idea. We built this so it would hopefully we can run 200, 300 pound people. We're not the skinny people you see on YouTubes where they've got all the cool GoPros and all that cool stuff. So that was my idea. So that's why we've got the weight on the back, the bigger, beefier stuff. The only thing we really ain't got is real good tubes to pull. We got the tubes, and we're gonna try that one. We're not gonna be able to tie to them. I was wanting one that I could tow, like a big, heavy one, like a lake one, a small lake one, that we could tow, so somebody could just hold on to it and not have to worry about holding on to the tube and the handle. And since we're adults and big and fat, we don't want our butts riding on the ground. The kids would probably be fine, so we were gonna try to do something, stay on a tube or something to stay off the ground. So anyways, the outside, once you get out this far, depending on how far it is, we overlap the plastic onto the plywood and then screwed the 2x4 on top of that. I mean, anybody can see that, but some people may not get it. You really want to pin the upside, the upwind side down with something. Fortunately, unfortunately for other people, we had a flood here, and some of the people had to sandbag their houses, and this is all leftover, so we had all the sandbags we wanted. So I think we used about 40 or 50 here for this project, and then we used wood on the upside. It got windy here yesterday more than it is now, and it really pulled up a lot of it. You really got to pin the edge down good, the upwind sides, so both sides. The important thing you need to remember, it's a 50-foot square, okay, 100 feet of runway, and we tucked under 4 feet of it. Pick out which way you want it to go. This is set up in a counterclockwise motion. So we pinwheeled or lapped the plastic to where you can go around like this and it not catch the edge. And then we went ahead and put a little bit, which in the wind we had to. It's a good thing we did, or this would be all blown to bits. They didn't have this tape at Lowe's. We had to get it at Home Depot. It was $20 a roll. We used about a roll and a half, and we pinned it down pretty good everywhere on these flaps. So I feel pretty good about that. And then you'll just have to tell the kids not to go the wrong way on it. That's the important thing. And if we're going to get them, this is going to be the run and slide area. They can run and slide down here when somebody's not being turned, or if they want to try it even when they are. I don't care. Not my kids. That way they just keep a designated area, but you want to keep them from going the wrong way, because they're going to pull that up and rip that up, and then you're going to have a big seam coming loose. So let's see here. We got this covered. We got the chain. Now, this is my second video, so it's hard to remember what I've said and haven't. There's going to be a tremendous amount of force out there when you got 300 pounds or whatever swinging around on this thing. That's why this pipe's so big, the chain's so big, this bar's so big, everything's big scaled. Depending on how closer the mower is to the pipe will determine on how much force and how fast it goes. Obviously the speed of the mower. This one goes about 7 miles an hour. It's pretty quick for a lawnmower. I call it a tractor. It's a lawnmower. The deck's off of it. That's what's going on here. So I've set it right now to where it's going to just barely miss the wood on the outside here with the tires. That way this bar sticks over as far as possible, and I'm less likely to pull somebody into this corner. It's going to be this corner right here. Now, something I didn't tell you, and you can't really see maybe, the yard goes down that way. It goes downhill. So what we're going to do is we're going to start people, whoever it is, out right here, and either they're going to have to give themselves a nudge and try to get going downhill like that, or we're going to push them, have somebody push them, and that should give us enough momentum. And we may not need it, but I just know on some of the videos people were starting out like back there, and then they were trying to pull it with a mower, and it pulled them. It was stupid. I mean, just dumb stuff that, like, a little common sense here. So I'm thinking, and it may not work, I may be messing this up, but if we start a little bit off down here and swing, get our motion going, and then it'll keep wanting to go downhill, by then the mower will catch it, and then we'll start pulling this around the corner, and then after that we'll be fine. We just got to watch these corners, because this will be the corner that'll get pulled into if we don't do it right. If you start the rope back here, just to explain, because I know half the people I got with me are going to do stupid stuff like this. If you start the rope back here and you try pulling that, it's going to pull right into the corner. So you need to start out wide. And I've not even done this before. I'm just assuming this is the case. So I'll let you know here in another video if I can splice all this together. Start out here wide and get you some motion going out here with the people. Obviously set your distance. That's why it's adjustable. The chain's adjustable. Everything's adjustable here. Set your distance to where you think your target. I was hoping the target raft or body would be right in here somewhere, and just barely missing the bags. That's what I'm going for. So that's the deal. So according to the centrifugal force stuff, people, guys, if they let this go straight off this angle right here and let go, they're supposed to go straight down that runway. And I added that. That's not something I see in a lot of them. A lot of people just do the circle thing. So I'm going to see. I don't know if it's going to work, but if we get enough momentum and let go at the right time, and the yard's not sloped one way or the other, in theory, according to people smarter than me, we're supposed to let go right here. It's supposed to go straight down to there. And then we're going to use Dawn soap, just because that's what we got. I'm sure there's probably something better. But that's the deal. We'll let you know how it works. Oh, and we also have water balloons. We made 200 water balloons. So we thought it'd be kind of cool if instead of just letting the kids run around throwing them on adults and people getting mad and start crying and all that stuff, maybe after about the third pass around, start throwing them at the person that's out here on the tube. They're going to be so busy worrying about the holding on and watching what they're doing that they're not going to care if water balloon bounces out there. At least that's what I'm hoping for. I'll let you know how it goes. Thanks.